My name is Ebbe Kruse Vestergaard and I'm the Research Director in GreenLab. In GreenLab, we're working with the green transition for the industrial sector. I think there's no longer any doubt that the climate change are real and that they are primarily human-caused. So what we're working with is what to do about it in the industry sector and energy sector. And there's a lot of things that can be done. Our goal is to make the producing industry more green and not depending on fossil fuels. In essence, what we're doing to make a green transition for industry is to create what we call eco-industrial clusters. So we're hosting a park where industries can build their factories and where they can work together on creating the green transition. In the cluster that we have created here in Skive, GreenLab, we have a number of companies already present and some companies on the way into the park. On the list of companies that have built their factories here, I can mention Quantafuel, a biogas plant, Danish Marine Protein, Stigsdal SkyClean, and the local waste handling facility in the municipal. So these companies moving into GreenLab, they want to become green. So what we are doing is first of all to connect them directly to renewable energy sources. There's being built wind turbines and solar panels that are directly connected to the park. And then we have ongoing projects about power to X. So we'll have hydrogen production in the park and also further refining to green methanol in the park. What makes a cluster like GreenLab special compared to companies just living separately, different places in the country, is that when you are co-located in a cluster, you can start looking at zero waste, which is one of our visions in GreenLab. We would like to make a cluster where waste from one company is utilized as a resource in a different company. One of the big problems when you want to do a green industry transition, a power shift in industry you could say, is that a lot of the energy coming into industry is wasted. So that's what we are handling by co-locating the industries in a cluster like GreenLab. To make a cluster that works and make a green transition for companies, you need first of all renewable energy. So that's one of the activities, is to ensure that we have green energy coming into the cluster. Another activity is to have storage facilities for that green energy, because as you all know, sometimes the wind is not blowing, sometimes the sun is not shining. So industries moving into a park doesn't want to shut down their production just because there's no renewable energy. So generation of renewable energy is one thing, storage of the energy is another, or buffering of the energy capacity. And then finally, as I said before, the zero waste policy, the fact that we want to make use of the waste resources between the industries also creates an activity for us of creating a sharing economy. We call it the symbiosis net, where each company can deliver value to the other companies. The challenge that we're posting here is about the symbiosis net. Not so much the physical infrastructure in the net, but the business model behind the sharing economy that needs to be there for the symbiosis to take place. Making a business model for such a symbiosis net is not a trivial task. Our inspiration in GreenLab is from the cooperative movement in agriculture in the 19th century. And we think there's something similar needed here if, at least if small to medium-sized companies should be able to make a green transition and become green industries for the producing industry. And since it's not an easy challenge, we are indeed inviting you to co-create in this challenge. I think the main point here is that there are many different exchanges of resources in a park like GreenLab. And maybe even more important than that, there's also a lot of connections to external markets. Just as an example, we have wind turbines and solar panels connected to the park. They can also look at the spot price market for electricity on the external grid, so they know how are the prices fluctuating on electricity outside the park. We have a biogas plant as one of the tenants in the park. They are selling biomethane to the external gas distribution net. We will have a producer of green methanol who will be selling green fuel for fuel stations, also with an external market with price fluctuations. So all these fluctuating prices on different markets will influence how you can make a fair and transparent way of trading goods inside a park like GreenLab. And I don't think anybody has made a system for trading that way before. I think a challenge like the one we're posting here is a very open challenge, so it can go in many different directions, also depending on your background as students. In any case, we are happy to receive input from you and challenges from your side also, questions, and I think that's one of the main points that we get from working with you. It is that we can also get some challenges back through the questions you're asking us. But one example could be if you have, for example, a data science background. You may want to look into some of the data on energy uses and resource streams in the park, maybe on fluctuations on the markets external to the park, and maybe even come up with a suggestion for an algorithm of how to control this. On the other hand, if you have more of a socio-economic background, one way to attack a challenge like this could be to look at motivational factors. What is it that makes companies lean into a cooperative movement? Is it a triple bottom line with the social effects, green effects, etc.? Or is it something else that needs to be motivational to move into a cooperative thing like a cluster? In any case, no matter what angle you take, we are really looking forward to work together with you.